But next up, our special guest, Excel MVP Zack Barresse. Looks like a lumberjack, but he's also from way back in the day, before this guy was in Excel, before this guy was in tables, he was Oz, you'd like this. He was pulling people's ass out the fire. Yeah, he was a paramedic down in the fire department. So Zack, would you mind saying hello and telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Hi, my name's Zack Barresse. So before I got into Excel, which I do full-time now, I was a firefighter paramedic in Oregon. I still volunteer for EMS. Let's see, I was in it, I've been in, I think, 16 years now. Career for a lot of that, but now I just volunteer. It's obviously, very rewarding. Takes a lot of time, a lot of training. But it's great. I got into Excel back in 2003, December 2003. I had my first Excel question. I had never used it before, and I found MrExcel.com and asked what I went back and looked at the question I asked a few years ago. One of the most ridiculous questions now, but it seems so unobvious when I asked it. But I found online forums and started asking questions, learning here and there, and then started taking other people's solutions and implementing them in my Excel and trying to learn their problems and the different solutions that were posted. And that's the one nice thing about the forums is you get, and MrExcel.com is just one of them. You get, there's 101 ways to skin the cat. Multiple ways to get what you want out of Excel. It's such a robust application. So I just started learning there, and then started with a few others. Started VBAExpress.com with Ann Troy, Scott Pearson, Mark Rowlandson, and Stuart Osger back in May-ish, I think 2005. And it's been a great website. I think it's still one of the best websites for any VBA that you want, and they cover things besides just Microsoft Office. There are I don't remember all the other applications that have VBA, but there are like AutoCAD has VBA. There's different applications that utilize VBA, and there's we're getting spreadsheets on the web now that can use VBA in a browser, which is interesting to see. But no, it's still a great forum. It's a great community. If you're part of a forum already, you probably already know that. If you're not, the forums are like these little mini communities that are great places to share knowledge and to meet great people. I was awarded the MVP award for Microsoft in October 2005. I've got it every year since. I've been really honored to get it. I've met a lot of great people, like Mr. Peltier, who is far funnier in person, and I don't know how to reply to him, but he did post a nice non-Control-Shift-Enter, non-array entered formula.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. But no, it's a great program, and the Excel community is a great community. Online, offline. And I think what you guys are doing here at the show, I think, is a great idea, and I'm really honored to be here. Thank you.
So what was that question? That first question that you ridiculous?
I was thinking that too.
It was something to do with I had found VLOOKUP, and I was trying to say, well, what if I want to do multiple VLOOKUPs based on certain conditions? And what I was looking for, it was with the if statement, the if question. So basically, what I was looking for, the answer that was given me was VLOOKUP, instead of trying to nest multiple if statements. So VLOOKUP changed my life.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a good bumper sticker.
VLOOKUP changed a lot of people's lives.
Put that on Cafe Press immediately.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have a question for you. So Oz often talks about how his experiences in comedy, he takes that and he brings it to Excel. So past experiences, being a firefighter, current EMS. Does any of that overlap with Excel? Have you taken any of that and said, this is how I can apply it in the Excel world?
I would say a little bit. A lot of times, there's the saying that goes, you stick a firefighter in an anvil in a room, you come back in an hour, and he'll find a way to break the anvil, because that's what they do. They break stuff really well, really, really well, right?
Right.
We deal with limited resources in a very chaotic world, and it's often referred to as just control chaos. It's chaotic, right? So we're always searching for just the simplest, most efficient solution with the tools that we have. And I guess a lot of times that's kind of the mindset that I use with Excel is, while I could dress it up, 6 ways from Sunday and make it, the most robust program in the world, sometimes the easiest solution, sometimes the most efficient solution is the best solution. But, sometimes I think where it may not relate to, fire EMS is when those situations aren't called for. Sometimes you do need an elegant solution. Sometimes you do need a more robust solution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know if it always relates, but I have had a few projects where, because they're my two loves, right? Emergency services and Excel. They're my two lovers besides my wife. Well. But there's been a few times where I've got to mingle them, and I've got some to work some EMS project. There's a great company down in Southern California in San Diego called First Watch. They're at firstwatch.net, and they do a lot of real-time monitoring for CAD systems, computer-aided dispatch, and and they do some great stuff, and they do exports to Excel. So I've got to work with companies like that, and helping them take the information that the people in emergency services use and make sense of it in Office and in Excel, so they can actually have usable data and actually get information out of it. So it crosses over sometimes, I guess, for the long answer.
I like what you're saying about simple solutions, elegant solutions, and I can even identify with being good at breaking things. What's an example of something you've done with Excel or project that simple was the way to go, that it could have been complicated, crazy?
That's a very good question.
Or why do you even say that?
Well, I guess, I think, to some of my more recent projects, and there was one that started out as a very, very simple project. And what this gentleman had asked for was really just two things. He said, I want my data to look better, and I want one place for universal inputs. And that's all good and well. And as I'm sure you guys all know, and probably a lot of the viewers know, that the saying that the customer is always right, but then there's the customer isn't always right, in that being, as far as I'm concerned, being a good consultant is more than just doing what the customer wants, but identifying and explaining what the customer needs and giving some some good options for those things. So this project went from a small couple-hour project to I haven't even tallied the hours. It's several hundred hours into a very large project that it does much more than it was actually ever intended to do, but it is the customer's extremely happy with it, and he's copyrighted it and is selling. He's making a lot of money on it, actually.
Wow.
So, but it was something that grew from an original very simplistic type project to a much more complex but much more robust solution that he can do what he wanted. Is basically a financial model, right? And so he can do what he wants, but he can do it in, I don't know, half a dozen different ways. He's got a great looking dashboard. He can spit out any number of charts or views and.
Right, and sometimes I get questions about being a freelancer. So, how would that project have been different? Say if that was your job that you showed up to every day versus being a consultant / freelancer.
Well, I think it really depends on the person. Being in the fire service for so long, we typically see, one or two personality types. We're very paramilitary, so it's always about having good work ethic and integrity. Do it if the job needs done, do it, right, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you don't always get that in corporate life or just out there. You get people who just want to do the bare minimum. And the bare minimum is, especially with that other project, would have just been do 2 hours of work and be done with it, and let him go on with his life. And my personal opinion is that as good consultants, we need to go beyond that and do identify those things that need to be done, and maybe not necessarily do it, but at least broach that topic with the customers and say, hey, I know you want to do this right now, but if you're looking long term down the road, or you want to be able to do A, B, C, or X, Y, Z, you're really going to want to look at doing something different. There might be more hours, it might be less hours, it might cost you a little more money, but this is the benefit you get down the road. And I think it behooves us to have that conversation with the customers.
Yep.
So Zach, first off, we have a note here from John Peltier. He says firefighting is an important skill in any corporate environment, and certainly you have that in spades. But in addition, you talked about VBA Express, and I know that you have a book that's coming out as well, which tells me in addition to being a firefighter, you have a certain entrepreneurial spirit, that a lot of people who watch this show, including John and Oz and Jordan, have as well. It's a certain something that makes you want to give a little bit more and kind of create something out of nothing. Can you talk a little bit about the process of how you went about even starting a book? How does that even process even start for you? If somebody's watching this right now and they'd like to start to head down that path, what was that like for you?
Well, I don't know if I should say that I cheated. I had been a copy editor of a few Excel books before this for O'Reilly Media for the Missing Manual series for Excel 2007, the 2007, 10, and 13 editions of the book. So that was quite an experience, and that was kind of my segue into books. And I'd always kind of had the hankering to write, and I think it was more, of seeing the lights of, your name on the cover of the book,
Right. It's all kind of, for me, it'd be just ego. Just,
right.
Oh, that's out there. You could buy 10 copies for my mom, isn't that what the Rolling Stone guy said?
Right, exactly, yeah, great song, man.
10 copies for my mother.
That's right. So I didn't want to do, I knew what I didn't want to do. I didn't necessarily know what I did want to do. But I knew I didn't want to do the same thing that had been done before, or had been done by, it was a topic that was already covered ad nauseum. I didn't want it to be a basic Excel book. You can find those and by much better authors than myself. So, and I'd been using tables a lot with Microsoft templates. I was hired in 2009, I think, by Microsoft to make some templates. So for all the new templates that you see in Excel 2013 and Excel Online, well, not all of them, but
a lot of them.
A lot of them, yeah. I think for the first batch during the beta of Excel 2013, before pre-release, I think I had like 75. It was Daniel Ferry and myself that was building them, and it was a heck of an experience. It was, I had a great time. Microsoft wasn't that bad of a company to work for, aka Big Brother, but and Daniel Ferry is just genius. He's so nice, but he's super smart. But yeah, so we were using tables. Basically, the idea was the direction we got was use the functionality from Excel as much as possible. And so they wanted us to do things like using tables and slicers and spark lines and timelines and using all the new features as much as we could. So I used tables before, but I had a crash course and found out a lot of pitfalls, a lot of drawbacks, and I found a lot of cool things too. And by the end of it, I thought, this would make a good book. And so I knew Bill Gillen, Mr. Excel, right, MrExcel.com, and I knew he published books. And so I kid you not, I saw him at an MVP Summit one year, and I said, "Hey, Bill, I'm thinking about writing a book about tables. Do you know how I can get published?" And he didn't even hesitate. He didn't stop. He said, "I don't care what you write, I'll publish it." And he's been AKA
Nice.
the man from now on.
He was a good guy.
Bill's such a good
Like
guy.
him.
Yeah, he took it on without even thinking twice.
Wow.
So yeah, and that started the long process of writing a book. It's far longer than I thought.
That is awesome. I think I probably so first off, I was probably about a year or so ago I published my first product, and my first product was a series of kind of Excel templates for small business owners. And then whenever the next version of Excel came out, I noticed all these templates come for free in Excel. And I was, damn it! So you're the guy.
Yeah, well, one of them.
You're the guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a lot of them that are older that aren't new. The new ones are, you can almost tell them by looking at them. So the ones that, I always say the ones that look really, really pretty, those are the new ones. The ones that don't look so pretty, that look a little older or maybe, not designed as well, those are what we call up level. They were designed, in 2010 or a previous version back to, maybe 2003. And we just took it, implemented some new functionality, made tables, threw in some table slicers, did whatever, made a pivot table, and up-leveled it into a, the new file formats. So a lot of them aren't the brand new ones, but the new ones, it was an interesting process. They actually use a design team of graphic artists that take what we did and make it look amazing. And it was a great company to work for, a company called Inc. out of Seattle, I believe they're based out of, and they do some phenomenal work. If I could afford their budget, I would hire them for all of my graphic design stuff because they're amazing.
All right.
So
Cool.
now, I wanted to say that every time I see someone who uses one of your templates, I say, "Hey, I know the guy who made that," and they're like, "Whoa, really?" So
Wow.
Yeah,
you're a celebrity.
it's a little embarrassing sometimes because they're not perfect. And like from the time of handoff to when I go into my Excel and I look at the templates, there's some things that have been changed, to keep what they call evergreen. So like the dates that are there, the placeholder dates they put in formulas, or the screenshots are wrong, or someone along the way got a formula screwed up, or something like that. But so they're not perfect.
Okay, so let me ask you, because I've had clients come to me, they've needed a budget built or an inventory, whatever, and they have tried a free template, couldn't get it to work, they didn't understand it, and then they come to me and then have to pay me to build something from scratch. So I'm wondering, how do you think about the templates, who's going to use them, the skill level they need, because I haven't seen one that's out of the box, ready for somebody. It's got to be massaged somehow.
Right. And yeah, as far as the Microsoft templates go, they are based on Microsoft Search Analytics, which they have their own division in the company that does all their search analytics. And so what we would get when we built the templates is we would get them like 8 or 10, sometimes 15 at a time, and we would get they would just send us just a table in Excel with all the information with template name, the target audience, so whether that would be the information worker or a tech worker or some kind of assistant, administrative assistant, or things like that. A description of what the template should do, some basic functionality, and if there was anything that either should be included or should be excluded. But that was pretty much it. So it was just kind of loosely based direction, but it was all based on Microsoft Search Analytics. So, and I hear what you're saying, Oz. I really do, because there's a lot of those templates there's a lot of things that that I wanted to add that I was shot down. So, for example, a lot of the new ones that are being built for touch or tablet, they don't allow pivot tables. I think that's maybe not the best choice, because I think it's as simple as an educational process where you push and hold on the pivot table and then select refresh, right?
Right.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
But there's things like that sometimes they take a hand and tie it behind your back and say, go forth and conquer, but don't do this.
Yeah, well, and I get that, and I know they want to move on to another topic, but I'll say this about the templates. The example is just how somebody's business works, and they get a thing about generating invoices, but their invoices are numbered in some funny way that needs to have the template tweaked. They want to put in other fields and don't know how to add a new field to everything that's there. So then somebody experienced does have to come in and their free idea failed. But okay, so I wanted to go back, say something quickly about the books. I'm writing a book now, and I warn people who want to write a book. It's slow, and it's hard, and it's intense, and you got to redo stuff. Like especially with dealing with something like pivot tables, something that's complex, and you got these 10 screenshots, and then you get to a place to where I say, okay, I don't have a good example for this next thing that I want to show. So I got to go back up. And I've got somebody helping me, and she got on me earlier, my coach, Helena Boucher. She said that, yeah, people who get books written, they become hermits. And that's why a lot of books never get written. So I'm thinking about writing an Excel book.
Yeah, it's hard work, man.
Yeah. All right.
So a few things. First off, Eric Ziola over there in the comments section says that if anybody wants to build a really robust roommate expense template, it'd be the most downloaded by everybody in college. So I call dibs. Nobody jump on that. I got that one. Okay there, Mr. Barresse.
I know Microsoft is creating specifically for college. I don't know if any of them are specifically a roommate expense tracker, but they're doing. I think there's at least half a dozen in the works for college-based templates. So, yeah.
Dang it!